11, 11, 22, 22, 33, 33, 147. The number sequences are everywhere and endless combinations, endless possibilities. What are the number sequences that you've been seeing? Because I know you have. You see, the energy right now is amping up. It's getting more intense. In fact, it's never, ever been as intense as it is right now. And it is only going to escalate. It is only going to amp up and amplify. And every day, every single day is ascension school. You could look at it that way, wherein your body is learning how to accommodate cosmic energy that you were once separate from. Your body is learning how to participate in consciousness as consciousness. And of course, that brings up density. And of course, it brings up healing. And healing is sometimes blissful and beautiful and sometimes painful. And it brings up all the stuff you don't want to see and all the stuff you don't want to confront. So healing takes many shapes and many forms. The end result is lightness. The end result is beauty. But as you go through all of the energy currents that you do, it's okay to feel topsy-turvy and confused when you see the signs and the symbols and the number sequences that I'm going to talk about today. Because there's a question that everybody asks that derails everything. It's the one most obvious question. And I'm going to share with you the trail of thought that human beings have been ushered into thinking, programmed to landing up at this one ultimate question that derails growth, that derails healing, that derails your very ascension process. So we're going to talk about that today. And of course, I'm going to give you tools that you can use, techniques, everyday, practical, simple things that you can use to understand what these numbers are telling you. So stay tuned, because all the way through to the end, I'm going to be giving you information that's going to be helpful, that's going to give you hacks. I like that. I like giving you things that are really useful. I don't want to just give you information that you walk away and go, oh, look at that, I know something else. Because ultimately what happens is you get top heavy. Do you know what I mean by top heavy? You land up getting all of the energy and information out here, kind of like you've got this brain that is swelling and getting bigger and bigger. But when you cannot integrate the information that you already know, and you cannot apply what you already know, it's pretty much useless. It's not growing you. It's not evolving you. So that's what today's about. The number sequences. Here is the train of thought. And the first part of this train of thought is perfection. The first part of this train of thought is absolutely correct. First thing you're going to think, when you look at your watch and you see 11:11, and randomly out of the middle of nowhere, you might, open a magazine and there you see 11:11, or you might see a billboard, or in the most random, most obscure place, you might look at your watch again and it's lunchtime, but this time it's 1:11, and you'll get these varying sequences, these varying number sequences showing themselves to you from a multitude of places, to the point that you have to state the obvious, and that is, this is not random chance. This is purposeful. This is coordinated. This is synchronicity showing itself to me. Because why? The universe is giving me a message. That's correct. When you see those number sequences, let that be the first and most obvious thing. There's synchronicity. It's purposeful. I'm receiving a message. And just by the way, that message is non-linear. We're going to talk about that some more. But that message is an activation code. It goes right into your DNA, which is a receiver and a broadcaster of cosmic information. Now, you're used to your brain doing that. You're used to your brain receiving information and then broadcasting information. Mostly, however, the brain just receives and we regurgitate, because that's what school taught us. School taught us, here's the information, receive it, regurgitate it, you're going to get an A on your test. So we learned that means of operating in the world. And yeah, it is kind of mean to limit ourselves to that kind of thinking, because once you start activating your higher mind and you start using the true potential of your consciousness, and not just of your intellect, but of your true multidimensional infinite intelligence, you're going to understand life at a whole new level. The trail of thought lands up, leading you to the question that derails you. And the question is, what does it mean? I dreamed about a frog. I had this dream. What does it mean? I saw these numbers, whatever they were, 2214. It doesn't even have to be, as we all imagine. We all think, oh, it must be a 2222. No, it's whatever you're seeing repeated over and over again. 147, 144, 288, doesn't matter what it is. There are many, almost endless activation codes. And the moment you stop and you go, what does it mean? Almost imagine it like this. Imagine if you had a dream dictionary, and they're out there, you can buy one. And I'm not saying they're wrong, by the way. What I'm saying to you is this. Imagine if I'm looking down on my desk for an example I can give you. Here's my bottle of water. Now, imagine that this bottle of water, this is the 1111 that you might be seeing. This is what it means. But I can only put one drop of this into words. I can only make linear one drop. The rest you have to drink. It's the only way you're going to integrate it. It's the only way you're going to experience it. It's the only way that you're going to allow it to interact with you. It's at the experiential level. In other words, the non-linear, the non-thinking level. And we're just not used to this. So when we see these codes, we stop everything. We halter ascension, evolution, growth. And the very reason why we're getting these number sequences in the first place, because now we want to get linear and we want to focus on that one drop's worth of information and say, okay, give me that. And we become so hyper-focused, even obsessed with it, because this book, this dream dictionary or number dictionary or angel number dictionary says 1111 means this. But on the internet it says that. So now which one is it? Why do we do this? Why was humanity programmed into and ushered into the trail of thinking that lands up locking you into linearity? Oh, for a very important reason. Because linearity is a confining and a restricting of consciousness. And it's, if you think of it like an imprisonment, like a jail cell that you cannot break beyond, that's the false matrix. The false matrix is made up of the stuff I can word, the stuff I can name, the stuff I can articulate. In other words, it's only real if I can say it. It's only real if I can prove it, acknowledge it, use words to describe it. If I feel it, may or may not be real. If it's experiential, still may or may not be real. However, I've had conversations with galactic beings pretty much all my life. Galactic beings, by the way, are beings who are multidimensional, at least 5D and beyond. And the majority of them do not speak in English. The majority of them do not speak in words. The majority of them do not speak in a language that is held in the brain. They speak the first language that you came into this lifetime speaking. The first language you knew in fluency, in totality, before whatever your home language is, maybe English, Spanish, German, whatever it is. Before you spoke that language, you spoke the universal language of energy, which is why you were so proficient in it. You knew when you had a need because you felt it. You didn't think, well, do I need love? Is it a nappy change, diapers for you in America? Is it food? What could it be? Maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. Should I ask my mother? Should I not ask? There was no contemplation. There was no linear thought. There was just this world of experiential, energetic input and output. That was it. That was your first language, and that still is the language of the universe. It's a field of resounding energy. You're a part of that field, but conditioned and limited to the brain. So this is why you want to make everything linear, because conditioning taught you and me and us to live there in the prison cell of the false matrix, where you cannot escape what the mind says. But listen to this, because this is the grand plan of those numbers. This is the grand beauty in why you're getting numbers and no dictionary. Even though you can buy a number dictionary, but it's only that drop of water, right? And it's not going to help you very much. Why would God or the universe, however you perceive that totality, that essence energy that coordinates your life, why would that being of supreme love and consciousness give you these number codes, but no rule book, no dictionary, nothing to decipher it with? Because you're not meant to. Think of it like this. Think of everything in the false matrix as being linear and being put into words and analytical understanding. And then beyond the false matrix, there's a realm of energy. It's your multidimensional infinite self, not the linear limitation of the egoic self or the finite self even, but rather the true essence of you. So God source consciousness, the universal supreme consciousness, creates a realm of information that doesn't make sense that doesn't get translated into words. And if it is, it's only ever going to be a fraction, the tiniest, teeniest, weeniest fraction of the story. Because remember I said I was going to give you tools? 11:11. I keep using that example just because it's one that I know you know. I know you've seen it, even if you've heard friends talk about it. It's the kind of thing that when life happens, when energy amps up and synchronicity starts joining it, you know the universe is telling you something. You keep seeing these number sequences, and as you notice them, they keep coming back again and again and again. So it's almost like that's the magic card. The moment you notice, whoa, that's like the third time today that I've seen that number sequence, then the universe says, okay, we got their attention. And so it's going to keep on giving you that same number sequence, almost amplifying and reinforcing the message. So it's bringing you into a place outside linearity, outside the brain, into higher consciousness at the experiential level. And here are simple tools for you to tap into it. Instead of, but what does it mean? Instead of turning to this elusive dictionary that I'm talking about, that doesn't exist. And if it does, it's just, I don't want to say useless, because that's kind of rude to the person who wrote the book. Not the full picture. Imagine if it had a fragrance. Imagine if 11:11 had a fragrance, what would it smell like? Imagine that there were wafts of this fragrance and you could smell it. What would it smell like? And you'll notice that your brain says, I don't know, because your brain doesn't know. And this is the point of the tools that I'm giving you. They're hacks to help you bypass the brain. If 11:11, whatever number sequence you're seeing, 188, whatever it is, if this could be translated to a texture, what would the texture be? Would it be fluffy and soft or warm? Or would it, and if it was a color, what color would it be? Would it be transparent? Would it be totally see-through? Iridescent? Would it be a dull, muted tone or a pastel or a neon? What would it look like if it were a color? So you get what I'm doing here. I am purposefully bypassing the linear mind. I am purposefully leaving the left brain out of the equation and putting the left brain in a place where it is rendered incapable. That's what we want. I want to take you to a place where the only thing you can do is drink the water, the proverbial water, experience it, merge. This is a very important thing. Let the energy merge with you, because when that happens, now you're really getting the totality of the conversation. Remember I said earlier that 11:11, it is a activation and the DNA is receiving it. Your DNA is a library, a living library. Your Akashic record is stored in your DNA. So much of your DNA exists at the multidimensional level that is invisible, non-visible, because it's in realms beyond the physical, of course. So it's at that DNA level that this interaction is taking place with the universe, and it's kind of like the universe is switching a light on that hasn't been put on for a long time. As you interact, you dive in, you drink the water, you immerse yourself in the experience, you begin to merge your energy with that field of consciousness, because now you're interacting with it. Imagining, oh, if I could smell it, what would it smell like? If I could see it, touch it, taste it, if I could translate it to a taste, what would the taste be? What would the flavor be? Understanding, of course, that this doesn't need to be something you even put into words. This doesn't even need to be something that you write down unless you really want to. This is more something that you are learning to sit and experience, to sit in and experience. Humanity has been deprived of this. Often I give you guys such simple, crazy, stupid, simple hacks, and somebody in the comment section gets super linear about it and says, I don't understand. It's too simple to not understand. What a person is saying is, I don't understand simplicity. I don't understand not making something complicated, because I've been led my whole life to overcomplicate, because that's the truth of what we were designed to do as 3D humans. But you're no longer a 3D human. You're an evolving human. You're a conscious human in the process of becoming more conscious, in the process of accessing higher dimensional bandwidths of you and bringing them down into the body, grounding them into the body. And those number sequences are tools that the universe is giving you. Sometimes people say, oh, God doesn't love me. The universe doesn't love me. They're not helping me. They're just watching me suffer. If you've ever said anything like that, there's a video on my channel and it's called 4 Stone Cold Truths About Self-Pity. Go watch that video, because no one's hurting you on purpose. But we're each here to take personal responsibility, and you got to reach beyond the realm of limitation, beyond where the brain's going to take you. You've got to reach into that level of experience. Now I want to give you, and by the way, my husband's busy fixing the roof right now. Tap, 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 tap. I'm hearing it really loudly. I don't know if you are. I sincerely hope not. Let me just say that. I sincerely hope you're not. If you are, I do apologize. I am sweltering hot in here today, boy. Okay, so that number sequence that we're talking about, I want to give you some drops of water. Remember I said earlier, I showed you my bottle of water and I said, if I were to put it into words, it would equate to a drop's worth. You don't want the drop. You want the whole experience. But let's just give you the drop, okay? If you keep seeing ones, what's that about? Like the 1111 or the 111, what is that about? The drops of water that I can give you is that 1 is about you and your power. And the more you see that number 1, the more amplified it is. 3s are about creativity. 2s are about passion, flow, water, beauty, music, anything that does this. It's a very feminine energy, whereas the 1 is a very masculine energy. The 3 is the 1 and the 2 being brought together to create a third person, a third party, a creative outlet, a creative form of some sort. 4 is practical and solid and shapes and size. It's something that's happening on the ground level, a very practical level. 5s are about change, often very unexpected change, transformation, alchemy. 6 is about unconditional love, and it's Christ consciousness, and it has many aspects to it. Many. Remember, I'm giving you a drop. I'm giving you a drop of water. I'm not going to sit and go through all those numbers in totality, but I want you just to experience this little drop. 7 is about connection to your intuition and to divinity. 8 is about abundance, but it's also about infinity. It's about connecting to your infinite self. And 9 is the chameleon, because 9 is bringing everything together, and 9 contains all of those numbers. So you can take these drops of water and you can drive yourself mad with them. Oh, but what does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? If you hear yourself asking that question, then transcend that question and instead say, but what does it feel like? But what does it feel like? Because that's what Kerry's teaching me to do. She's teaching me to go somewhere that my brain cannot, because it's not meant to. She's teaching me to merge myself. So I've got to be present when I do this, because I've got to bring my energy to meet the universe, and we're going to work together, me and the universe, to figure this thing out, to participate in this communication that my brain never has to know, understand, articulate, and break down into words. It's going to become a part of your field, a part of your energy, a part of your, I want to say this, a part of your oomph, a part of your overall signature energy. And if I asked you that right now and I said to you, listen, here's a piece of paper and a pen, write down for me, what is your signature energy? That would be a travesty. I would never want to ask you that, because I would never want you to limit your signature energy to words. I would want rather to experience your signature energy, or have you experience your signature energy. There are some things too divine to possibly ever articulate, and 1111 is one of them. Your number sequences are one of them. Same with dreams, by the way. It's exactly the same thing. All these signs, all these symbols, apply what I'm telling you here today to all of the, but what does it mean? Last thing I want to tell you is probably the most important. I always do that. The end of the video just lands up leading us somewhere, and I feel like a lot of people miss out. So if you're here watching to these last few minutes of the video, well done to you, because you're receiving the real nuggets of gold that I share. Why do we do this? Why do we say, what does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? Because we lack meaning. Because when you lack meaning, you seek definition from the external world, and you want something outside of you to define you, because you feel empty on the inside. Why do you feel empty on the inside? Because you're aware that you're living in an illusion, and instead of trying to make the illusion real, which is what humanity at large has done, you know that you're different and you can't do that, which is not a failing, it's a blessing. But because you can't do that, you mistakenly seek definition from dreams and numbers and astrological signs and all of these external validating factors that can certainly be helpful, certainly, but they can never define you. Because you are an infinite thing. How do you describe, how do you delineate infinity? And this is to support you, these number codes and the signs and the symbols, this is to support you in connecting with the infinite self, beyond the boundary of the false self, to go there into the true self, to navigate the true matrix. Every day is a life lesson. And every day you're going to be called to go beyond where the brain can take you. Sometimes you're going to get confused by that, overwhelmed by that, but eventually you're going to surrender into the beauty and the bliss of that. I love you. Thanks for listening. Share this video if you feel it's going to help others. I absolutely love these conversations. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye for now. Mwah. From my heart right into yours. Hope you feel it.